If you're like me and you play Pathfinder for a little bit of adventure, a little bit of excitement, well, with that adventure comes a little bit of risk. And there are times when you are going to be in battle, you're going to be in encounter mode, and people are going to start getting hurt. You might have a cleric, you might have a druid, you might have someone who is dedicated to healing using various skills or feats. Maybe that person isn't up next or they can't act in time. Maybe they're out of spells or maybe they can't use their feats another time. And there are some times when maybe you just don't have the action economy in order to do a 2 or 3 action heal in order to try to get someone up. Well, there is a particular feat called battle medicine, and battle medicine pretty much allows anyone who is trained in medicine and has healer's tools in order to do at least some healing on a person, or in the case of Pathfinder, a creature that might be in your party, and it will allow you to heal them. Now, battle medicine can be a little bit confusing because it is a lot like treat wounds, but it is not quite treat wounds, and we'll go ahead and kind of discuss that a little bit. So my name is Don. I'm trying to be the Sly Strategist, and let's go ahead and get into it. Now, if you're trained in medicine, battle medicine is a feat that I really suggest a party get. You should usually have maybe a main healer or a bunch of people that can do healing actions, but at the very least, you should probably have 2 people that could battle medicine. Battle medicine allows you to, with a really good and efficient action economy, with one action, attempt to treat wounds or something very similar to treat wounds on someone in your party. It is something that you can take, once again, as a first level feat, or you can get it with certain backgrounds like field medic that will allow you to kind of have battle medicine there in your pocket. Now, what is battle medicine? Well, let's go ahead and read it really quick. So battle medicine is a single action and it is a first level feat. The traits are general, healing, manipulate, and skill. Once again, keep your traits in mind as you're going through your turn. Prerequisites are trained in medicine, and the requirements are you're holding or wearing a healer's toolkit. Now, the description is you can patch up wounds even in combat. You would attempt a medicine check with the same DC as for treat wounds and restore the corresponding amount of hit points. This does not remove the wounded condition, so that's important to note. And as with treat wounds, you can attempt checks against higher DCs if you have the minimum proficiency rank. The target is then immune from your battle medicine for 1 day. There are things that you can do, things that you can get that could lower that down to an hour or allow you to do it in an emergency twice in 1 day. So just keep that in mind as you're building your character. However, just to kind of go a little bit further, this does not make them immune to or otherwise count as treat wounds. That sentence is very important. This is not a treat wounds. So once you're out of combat, you wouldn't have to wait the 10 minutes. So that's an interesting thing to know. And there are some things that are a little bit different. That being said, let's go ahead and bring up treat wounds here really quick and kind of talk about the important parts of treat wounds. So I did highlight 2 things in treat wounds, and the first one is the DCs. The medicine check DC is usually 15, but as always, it's GM discretion, and there could be situations they list things like a patient outside in a storm or magically cursed wounds could adjust the DC, but basically it's going to be 15. If you are an expert in medicine, you can instead attempt a DC 20 check to increase the hit points regained by 10. If you're a master in medicine, you can attempt a DC 30 check to increase the hit points regained by 30. And if you're legendary, you can instead do a DC 40 check to increase the hit points regained by 50. And the damage dealt on a critical failure remains the same regardless of the DC class. And we'll get to that just here in a second. And as a matter of fact, we're going to do it now. So on a critical success, the target regains 4d8 hit points. On a success, the target regains 2d8 hit points. Now for those 2, the DC check match. So you would add that 10, 30, or 40 additional points depending on the DC you went against. But for a critical failure, the target takes 1d8 damage and it doesn't matter what DC you went against. Now, the advantage to that is you aren't going to hurt the person anymore. However, if the person is very low and you happen to roll that nat 1 and have no hero points or don't want to use the hero point or don't have someone who has some fortune effect that could possibly change it, you could actually kill your character's ally if they are low enough. A couple other quick points here is for battle medicine, you do need to be adjacent to the character and you do need to have your healer's tools handy, at least worn. And there has been some errata that was published that were saying that worn tools only need one hand to use, so you do need a hand free in order to do the battle medicine. Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and go into Foundry and kind of take a look at how it's going to look in combat. Now, battle medicine wouldn't make a lot of sense unless we were already in combat and you actually needed to use it. So we're in the middle of a combat here, and let me go ahead and set the scene. We're in the second round of combat with our party battling 4 animated statues. We have these 2 here, which are an elite template, making them a creature 4, and these 2 here that already went down that are a creature 3, making this right between a moderate and a severe encounter. Party came out strong. Sly had his aura up and gave the party an additional 10 feet of movement with the air aura junction. And you can see that here already applied to Ira as he is in the aura. And the party has already felled 2 of the animated statues. Unfortunately, they were the normal template ones, which are creature level 3. But this has come at a cost. Sly has been hit once already, and Crag is near death. Ira is starting the second round, and initially Ira casts a Divine Lance on this particular guy over here who was surrounding Crag and causing damage, and it was able to take them down. But that leaves him with 1 action to use. He could try a 1 action heal, or he can do a battle medicine, and he can also do a battle medicine at DC 20 to get those additional 10 hit points. He does have assurance in medicine. However, that at level 5 is only going to get him an assurance of 19, so he's going to have to roll. So let's go ahead and see how this plays out. So Ira is going to, on his turn, he's going to target Crag with his 3rd action. And then he's going to go ahead and try the battle medicine. Now, battle medicine is going to come up, at least in Foundry, in the chat. So he's going to go ahead and click right here. And that is going to bring up the treat wounds roll. So he's going to scroll down and do treat wounds in order to bring the macro up. Once again, they could do it at DC 30 if he was a master, but Ira is only an expert at this point. And legendary for an additional 50 points, but we're going to go ahead and stick with the DC 20 for 10 additional bits of healing. We're going to go ahead and hit treat wounds. Not going to use assurance. Once again, you can see that if Ira is going to try to use assurance, that would only be a 19 with a roll of +9 plus the assurance. So Ira is going to go ahead and make that roll and heals Crag for 16 points. So we'll go ahead and get on Crag and apply that healing. And now Crag is out of that near death and just a badly injured, but probably going to survive another hit or 2. Now, without additional backgrounds or feats, this is something that can only be done once a day, and Crag is going to be temporarily immune from battle medicine from Ira for an entire day. Now, as a big fan of support characters, I love battle medicine. I think it's one of those things that you can use even on your main healer when they're in a tight spot. It allows them to get out of different things and potentially do a little bit more healing than they could do with a single action heal or if they're out of spells. And it is also really good to have on other characters. Maybe your rogue who has great mobility on the battlefield would be a prime choice in order to do a battle medicine, or another backliner if your backliners are getting hit a lot, or they have some free actions or less actions that might be useful. Or maybe have an additional one of your frontliners have battle medicine in order to be able to do it on the spot to whoever their ally is standing next to them. Now, I do hope you like this little playthrough. Battle medicine is fantastic. I'll say it again. And I hope you do try it in your next battle in order to try to change the tide of the battle or maybe stem some of the bad luck and keep people up on their feet. I do hope you like this video. And if you did, feel free to like, subscribe, or hit that notification bell. But whatever you do, I hope you have a great day and happy adventuring. Thanks.